You're now watching Downunder Derby TV. Hey there, you're watching Downunder Derby TV.
Hello and welcome to track one. We have Varsity Derby League's B team, the Rogue Scholars, up against Sydney Roller Derby League C team, Mercenaries, in green and white. We have Roxy Horror, Hell Yeah, Brazen Ivy, Fast and Furiosa, Madame Lash, Katality, Bobbin Weaver, Hot Blocks, Half Bloody Princess, Franny, Hayes, M-Dash, and Cross Wencher. And in black and red, we have for Mercenaries, Whip, Kraken, Unsteady, Dom, Skater, Jupiter, Alice Ablaze, Thumper, Judge, Booty, Biffy Miffy, Scrim Shady, Pris, Blocky, Balboa, Travesty, The Fresh Prince, and Betty Stopper. The game is about to start, and SRDL Mercenaries in black have fielded their skaters. We have 187 Dom with the star on her head. We have Scrim Shady Betty, we have Thumper, and we have Pris. The Rogue Scholars have sent out their startup as well on the jam line. Can you see her number? 420, that is Hot Blocks with the star on her head. They have fielded Franny, Hayes, Crosswencher, and, oh no, that's Hot Blocks in the pivot. Who's got the star?
So, captain is jamming.
The captain is jamming. That's Katality. We're just waiting for our officials crew to start the game. While we hang out, we'd like to thank the officials. Thank you for volunteering your time on and off skates. We'd also like to thank Skate Project. Thank you, Skate Project, for providing the data package we needed to stream this weekend's coverage of the East Coast Invitational here on the Central Coast at the Niagara Park Stadium. right, we've just heard from the head ref. She says, okay, we can go now. There is the whistle. 5 seconds has been called. Welcome to the first jam of Rogue Scholars versus Mercenaries. We start with a pretty tight jam line start. Dom zigzagging through and knocking over that front green wall, and she's through and has lead for the Mercenaries. Meanwhile, Katality stashes the star. She is being held up by the SRDL blockers. Scrim Shady getting in her way there. Betty Stopper stopping her, but she is through on her initial pass. Dom gets recycled on the infield by Crosswencher. She picks up some points, and she calls the jam just in time as Katality approaches the pack. Jumping onto that jam line, we have the Fast and Furiosa jamming for the Rogue Scholars up against, for Mercenaries, the Fresh Sprints. And they're off. Fresh sprints up the inside line and takes lead. Meanwhile, the Fast and Furiosa fastly exits the pack on her initial pass. Sprints through the inside line and calls it just in time as Furiosa approaches. Another 4-0 jam to the Mercenaries. We have Dom jamming for the Mercenaries as she deals with that green 4-wall all by herself. She is pushing them out of play. No pack is called, and Dom slips through on that inside line. Meanwhile, the Rogue Scholars sweep the Mercenaries out of a way to try and spring Hot Blocks. Hot Blocks has stashed the star. Meanwhile, Dom is through on another 5 points. The pack speeds up and Hot Blocks completes her initial pass. Dom coming in for another scoring trip. A little pile up at the front there. Dom calls it from the floor. Katality takes the star again for the Rogue Scholars. The Fresh Sprints for the Mercenaries. A timeout is being called by the officials, who are having a little conversation on the outside apex. The Fresh Sprints runs up the outside line and takes the lead for the Mercenaries again. Katality dealing with Thumper one-on-one. Thumper recycles her. But Katality picks up a cut track. So it's a power jam to Mercenaries, but Sprints also takes up some kind of penalty. So Katality will be released from the box. She has stashed the star. Both jammers are now released. And back on the track. There is no lead jammer for this jam, which means it goes for the full 2 minutes, of which we have 1:17 left. Sprints picks up 5 points. Big hit from Pris sends Katality to the floor, and she recycles to the outside behind Thumper. Nice little inside apex hop from Sprint, and she gets through, picking up 4 more points. Katality trying to get through an SRDL 4 wall. And Katality passes it to the pivot, who escapes on the initial pass. Sprints tries to call the jam, but didn't her penalty mean that? Yeah, so Black 96 gets an illegal call because she... So what happens is if you call off the jam when you're not lead jammer, you get, and the ref calls it off, you as the jammer get the penalty for having incorrectly called off the jam. So it is a power jam start to the Rogue Scholars, which is exactly what they need to try and put their first few points on the board. Ever so wisely, they have fielded Fast and Furiosa as their jammer. Time out. And they're off. The Fast and Furiosa gets lead in less than 4 seconds for the Rogue Scholars. The pack speeds up and the Rogue Scholars try and scatter those Mercenaries. But Miffy and Scrim Shady are pulling it together up the front with Betty. They lay a hit on the Fast and Furiosa, but she stays in, picking up 5 points for the Rogue Scholars. 1 SRDL blocker in the penalty box. Pack advantage to VDL. Fury puts herself in the Mercenaries triangle. Scrim Shady holding the line. Fancy footwork from the Fast and Furiosa. She gets through and picks up another 5 points. She is determined to put those numbers on the board and close the score gap. The fresh Sprint was released from the box and she's completed her initial pass. Fury skips through and calls the jam. Beautiful 14-point pass. And now court is in session with Judge Booty on the jam line for SRDL Mercenaries. And the Rogue Scholars take lead. That's 1006 Roxy Horror. Judge Booty passes the star to Thumper, completes her initial and picks up some points. Oh, did she get 2 points? And a back block. 2 points and a back block is issued to Thumper. Thumper will sit in the penalty box as the jammer, which is a power jam start to Katality and the Rogue Scholars. Scrim Shady holding up the front there as the Rogue Scholars try and sweep the SRDL blockers out of the way. Skater Jupiter holding the inside line. Betty holding her off right at the end, and Katality picks up lead. Thumper is standing with a star in the penalty box. Katality deals with the Mercenaries 3 wall. She goes to the inside, only to be sabotaged by Scrim Shady and Skater Jupiter. Thumper is back on track, and she slips past Katality and completes her initial pass. Katality calls the jam.
Just like pressing buttons to try and find something that I'm after. was blue.
We have 187 Dom on the jam lane up against 2063, the Fast and Furiosa for the Rogue Scholars. Dom is through on that inside line. Hot Block's trying to hold her off, but she takes lead. Fury has stashed the star. She takes a straightaway jump, but is sabotaged by Thumper, who thumps her into the infield. Dom dominates that front three wall, splitting them up and getting through, putting another 5 points on the board. Meanwhile, Fury is being recycled by Scrim Shady, who's really upstanding in this game. Star pass to Hot Blocks. Oh, Black 9 tries to hold her off, but they've got the line. They're holding her on the outside line. Chris and Shady in a wall together. Green 420. Hot Blocks is out on her initial and forces a call off.
Okay, so I don't know what happened, but 1 and 2 cut straight. And Tab is making it do picture in picture.
We have K-Tality on the jam line for the Rogue Scholars and the fresh sprints for Mercenaries.
Still brings the scoreboard back in.
And they're off. Sprints going through the inside, to the outside, to the inside again. K-Tality caught in the back of that red and black wall. And Sprints takes the lead for SIDL. We have even packs with each team with one blocker in the penalty box. Sprints is coming around, but K-Tality is hot on her heels. Sprints comes through for some points. And she calls it, but they both pick up points. Nice work, K-Tality. We have Judge Booty on the jam line for the Mercenaries. She runs up the outside line and Court is in session as she takes a lead. We have 7-7 Hayes for the Rogue Scholars being held up by Pris and Travis and Thumper. Judge Booty is through on the inside line again. She picks up another 5 points for the Mercenaries. Meanwhile, Scrim Shady is just zigzagging backwards along that track with Pris holding off the jammer. Thumper comes in to defend that outside line. And Judge Booty is guilty of another 5 points. Hayes stashes the star and tries to get it to her pivot, but Thumper is not letting her through. Judge Booty being recycled by Green 129. Hell yeah. Hayes being recycled by Scrim Shady, and Judge Booty picks up another 5 points. And with a sneaky star pass, your new jammer for the Rogue Scholars is 1618 Brazen Ivy. From the floor of the infield, Judge Booty calls the jam. We have Dom jamming for the Mercenaries. Fast and Furiosa jamming for the Rogue Scholars. 5 seconds has been called. Fury helping her blockers to hold off Dom so that she can get a shot at lead, which works. She runs up the inside line and takes lead. Dom is hot on her heels as she sprints away from the pack. The pack speeds up to waste some time. Dom trying to gain on Fast and Furiosa. Fury hits Betty. Picks up 2 points before calling the jam from the floor. We have the fresh sprints jamming for Mercenaries up against K-Tality. The fresh sprints up the outside line and takes lead for Mercenaries. K-Tality hot on her heels, completes her initial pass. Sprints picks up a back block penalty, giving a power jam to who is Caliente. And I would like to welcome to the mic Flat Track Protocol.
Hey,
Welcome.
Sasha Fierce, how are you this morning?
I am very well this morning. How are you going?
Oh, fantastically. I have been home. I have been showered now. As the viewers at home know from my partial call from the last game, I was eagerly waiting to get out of here to go and shower. So, yep, I am all clean. I'm happy. I have had some coffee. I am feeling much better.
Fantastic, good to hear. So we've just had the fresh sprints being released from the penalty box. There's no lead jam for this particular jam, which means it's going to go for the rest of the 2 minutes. Caliente is being devastated by the SRDL 3-wall there. Scrim Shady is really pulling a fantastic game today. But no drama for Caliente. She picks up 5 points for the Rogue Scholars.
Now, you've been following the Mercenaries through this tournament, Sasha, calling a lot of their games. Have you found their game, because they're a very new team, have you found the game style has been developing over the tournament? Have they sort of found their rhythm by this point of the tournament? Oh,
absolutely. The first game they played against the BCR B team, the nasty Nancies, they lost. So the score was something like 120 to 234. So pretty decent point differential. Still a lot of success on the Mercenary side for their first game. They had to go up against BCR again yesterday afternoon, and they won.
So they've turned it around from taking it from a loss in that morning, coming up against that same squad again in the afternoon, and turning that into a win.
I'll tell you, whatever the Mercenaries had for lunch yesterday, do it again every game, because it worked.
It worked, yep. And it's carried them through to today, obviously, and putting in a solid effort here in this game. It's still a long way to go, though, with 13 minutes left on the clock. There's 40 points there to make up the difference. Still quite doable, but the Mercenaries putting on a solid performance so far in this game too.
Absolutely outstanding on the Mercenaries would be Thumper, who's really been holding those lines and recycling. She's even taken a few star passes this weekend. A very versatile skater. Also Betty, who has absolutely deadly hips. The jammer runs into those hips and they just fall straight to her feet. Oh, yeah.
We do have rosters. We just haven't had the crew to run them this weekend. So.
Well, I read them out previously, but I did neglect to mention our benchies. Enigma, Eliminator, Little Miss Spanky, and Jessica Rabbit. And the Mercenaries on the bench, we have Commando Roll, Chevy Chase, Moody Bitch, and Mr. Bump.
It's quite
Am I allowed to say that?
Moody Bitch or Mr. Bump?
Oh, Mr. Bump, awkward.
Look, we regularly do call Moody's name when we're calling games.
Oh,
often, shorting it to Moody's fine as well, but her derby name is Moody Bitch. We are on YouTube. If we do go out on WFTA TV, we have to adhere to the FCC standards for broadcasting.
Oh, I see.
Just a they're an American organisation and they consider them like they're a broadcaster. So they I don't know if it's self-imposed rule or full-on rule, but they do ask that we keep it FCC compliant for that. But
the jam is in play. We have Roxy Horror for Rogue Scholars, who has just taken lead. Dom is fighting her way through the pack, but she is through on her initial pass.
Dom very low, coming around past the central commentary box here. Only half a lap separating the two jammers as they approach the pack, both on scoring passes.
Bruce has been released from the penalty box, so we have pack advantage to SRDL.
Little hop there through the inside line from Dom, picks up the points.
We have Fast and Furiosa approaching the jam line, and court is in session with Judge Booty for Mercenaries.
Big shout out to both of them working on our crew this weekend also. So two of our crew members up against each other. They actually had a few comments in the crew chat this morning. See you on the track comments, I noticed. So
a little friendly banter.
Yep, definitely. And our crew is definitely made up of people from across all of the leagues, and we need your help too. So come and help us out if you're keen. Get in touch.
Oh, and Fast and Furiosa gets the lead in less than 5 seconds. She is fast. Star pass to Thumper from Judge Booty, who is gaining on Fury. Fury zigzagging through to the outside line. Oh, little stack, she calls it from the floor. That's my second favourite place for jammers to call a jam.
Where's the first favourite place? In the air?
Yeah, yes, while flying through the
While
air.
flying.
Oh, we got replay on this track. There we go. There's Thumper with the star. Bam, Fury's call off.
Big shout out to producer Men's Laughter, who's getting this track organised, ready for our big coverage of finals this afternoon. So we're making sure everything works and getting all the features in place ready for that. So they will be full produced games. They will have the works, penalty boards. Everything will be as you've come to expect from coverage like MRDA Downunder.
Oh, I'm so excited. I love working that event. Here we have the Fresh Sprints dealing with the four wall up the front. She's fighting through them. Oh, a little pile up. She fights through on her own and takes lead. Meanwhile, that's the half-bloody princess with the star on her head for the Rogue Scholars. The Rogue Scholar blockers sweep the Mercenaries out of the way, letting her through on her initial nice teamwork.
Fast and Furiosa, Jammer Star on head for the Rogue Scholars.
That's Dom. Look at her circling around. I liken her skating to that of a shark. And yesterday, Trixie and I came up with a new song for her.
A new song?
Yeah, it's Dum 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 Dum. I sang it to her yesterday. We just have an injured skater being taken off the track, but she's all right. She's getting help. She will be attended to by the very best. Huge thank you and shout out to our medical staff here at Niagara Park Stadium.
Currently in official timeout. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank, and look, I'm going to let you do this one because you do the better bearings the best.
If you need better bearings, you betcha Better Bearings have got you covered. Keeping you... Don't bear with bad bearings. Get better bearings.
There we go. I love what you do with them every time. We're going to need to get some for Skate Project too, though, or have you already?
I'll think of some. I try to do a different Better Bearings ad every time. Meanwhile, Dom takes lead for the Mercenaries. Hot on her heels is Fast and Furiosa.
Both jammers flying past us here on this side of the track.
Dom gets through, and she calls it just in time.
Another 4 points added to the total for the Mercenaries, bringing their score to 96, almost at that 100-point mark. Plenty of time to do it in two.
Oh, better prepare your drinks. We have Hayes on the jam line for Rogue Scholars, and court is in session again for Judge Booty.
I always took it as she likes to judge Booty more than...
Than Judge Judy. Well, she does that too. Beautiful work there from Thumper, holding off Hayes for as long as possible. She pushes into Travis and gets through on the outside line. Forearms penalty being called to Black 9.
Judge Booty being
But
taken to the
also-
inside of the track. Star comes off head.
We have a power jam situation for Judge Booty. Also, Half Bloody Princess and Thumper are also in the penalty box. Judge Booty is through, placing the star onto her head.
Not lead jammer though.
There is no lead jammer.
We will go the full 2 minutes, a minute and 18 seconds left on the jam clock.
Judge Booty's coming around the track. She will be with you in a moment.
Judge Booty taken to the outside, recycled all the way back, further than 20 foot from the pack. Reform called from an outside pack ref and back to the pack. Judge Booty taking the inside line. Finds some trouble there though, resets herself, finds another path through the outside. Star comes off head, star pass has been completed to the pivot, that is...
Thumper! Thumper takes the star and 5 points for the Mercenaries. Meanwhile, Hayes is zooming around and around. She's a jammer that likes some speed.
Taken to the inside pirouette, kept in bounds though. Excellent work there.
There's only 15 seconds left. Thumper, thumps into the blockers and gets recycled. Hayes zooms around the outside again, much to the admirers in the crowd. That was a fast and exciting jam.
13 points in that jam for the SRDL Mercenaries, 8 for the Varsity Derby League Rogue Scholars. Taking a look at the replay here, Hayes is coming around the outside, picks up that whole pack, no one noticed.
She's just too fast. And speaking of fast, on the jam line for the Rogue Scholars, we have Furiosa.
Furiosa up against...
the fresh sprints for Mercenaries. Fury giving Sprint some friendly taps, a little pile up, but everyone's okay. Fury runs up the outside line and takes lead. Sprint has completed her initial pass. Fury saying, go faster, go faster.
Pack slows down at the far end.
Nice
Apex hop.
Apex jump.
Calls it from the floor. Sasha's second favorite place to call the jump from.
Nice work, Fury. We have an instant replay here.
Taking a look at the hop, and here she comes up the inside, takes the hop, takes looks like a slight forearm mid-air there, but we'll reserve judgment on that one. And gets taken to the inside, calls the jam off from the ground. Official timeout being indicated by Jam Timer.
During this timeout, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors. If you need better bearings, you better head to Better Bearings. Their bearings are much better. No longer do you need to bear bad bearings when you have better bearings from Better Bearings. An official review is being called... who is calling it? Oh, I'm going to go find out what it is.
Yeah, great. Dare I say, it's about the contact mid-air. Can we have another look at that replay, please, Men's Laughter? Here we go. So Fast and Furiosa coming up the inside. Just watch the Mercenaries pivot's arm here. Well, no, contact was made legally by the shoulder there, I think. That does actually look like legal contact. I certainly misread it in my first live viewing of that and calling the first replay of it, but it looked a little bit like a possibility. Again, I'm just speculating. This could be something altogether unrelated. It could even be an official review being used as a timeout. Sasha Fierce coming back from the center of the track. Hopefully we'll have some information for us to help us with our speculation. I'm sure if it is that incident, we will have another look at that replay and we'll get Sasha's opinion on it.
I am am back.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
We've been watching that replay again and speculating some more.
Oh, really? You should play it again one more time so I can have a look, if that's all right.
That's all right. I've made another call on it now, but take a look.
Okay, because I'll tell you what the review is about. It was the black team, SRDL Mercenaries. They believe that when she jumped, she clipped one of the mercs. There we go. And the merc collapses, and therefore she would like mercs with like a low block.
All right, can we have a look at that once more, please, Manslaughter? Now, I want to pay particular attention with the initiation from the shoulder of the Mercenaries pivot. And I believe this block is actually initiated by the Mercenaries with the shoulder legally into Fast and Furiosa.
Oh, yeah.
That's my personal reading on it. Let's
Yeah.
wait and find out what the officials have to say.
Well, the penalty box is still... Okay, so they've obviously already chatted about it while we were chatting about it. And the penalty box is empty. And did those points still stand, or they were taken away?
It looks like everything's... we've still got 4 on the board for the Rogue Scholars from the previous jam.
So
Lots of whistles.
they're wiping up some sweat from the floor.
I think we're going to take the assumption that nothing has happened as a result of that review.
Which means the review was lost. I think they must believe that the skater was not tripped.
Hey guys, Man's Laughter here. I just wanted to make a special thanks out to Junkyard Jerks for that replay. Being able to replay that and slow it down nice and slow for you guys so you can really catch a look at it. I was really
Junkyard
enjoying
Jerks.
that aspect.
Thank you, Junkyard Jerks. We have Dom, who's just picked up lead for Mercenaries.
Star comes off
Meanwhile-
head from the Rogue Scholars. Couldn't quite catch who that came
Star
from, but
pass!
it went to 1-6-1-8. That is Brazen Ivy. Both jammers coming around the far corner of the track now. Only feet separate them. Dom that goes, nope, that's enough. I'm not going to risk this one. Let's call it off. We can reset. We've got the points to spare right now with only 5 minutes and 18 seconds left on the clock.
Pack advantage to Rogue Scholars as Black 9-0s in the penalty box. We have the fresh sprints on the jam line for Mercenaries and Fast and Furiosa, who does those deadly apex jumps that everyone's been talking about.
We have certainly been talking about them and watching them.
Oh, she's amazing. And she's jamming for Rogue Scholars.
Feeling good about my call on that replay now. The referees agreed with me. Maybe I've still got it. Maybe I should pick up a whistle again sometime.
Oh, boy. Where would you fit it in? When, Jared? When?
Sunday scrimmage is when I often get asked for, so it means I'd see a lot of USRDL people more often too.
And running around the outside line is Fast and Furious, so she takes lead, but in front of her is the fresh sprints for Mercenaries. Those two race around the track. Fury telling the pack to speed up.
Mercenaries trying to keep it slower, though. They don't want any of that.
Big pile up there. Well, little pile up there. Everyone's okay.
And we have another replay to take a look at. And it is Fast and Furiosa picking up lead here around the outside, up on the toe stops. I think one day you should do a, those, the interview cuts they do after the courtroom sessions to get the one of those style ones with a skater to sum up a game.
And Judge Booty takes lead. Jammer, she is guilty of getting out of the pack first.
I think that one might even be better for a penalty call.
But we have 1006 Roxy
Oh,
Horror hot on her heels. She may force Judge Booty to say this court case is closed as she calls the jam.
Ref down? Oh, ref down replay. Here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Who is it? Oh, no PR there. Was that Lioness, perhaps?
That's okay. Refs have wheels on their feet too, and it is slippery out there with all that sweat on the floor.
But the custom is the ref that goes down buys the drinks at the after party for the crew.
We have Dom on the jam line for Mercenaries up against Fast and Furiosa.
Big shout out, of course, to Lioness, formerly of Inner West Roller Derby, who are in the Division 2 finals today. Now with the Sydney League refereeing her first tournament, I believe, with stripes on the outside pack this weekend.
And Dom takes lead for Mercenaries. Fast and Furiosa is a lap behind. Dom is in the pack, being held up, but she powers through. She calls the jam. She's got a big grin on her face too.
Just 2 minutes and 26 seconds left in the half. Taking a look at some action from the jam. Dom coming up through the outside on her toe stops as well. Just past and picks up lead. Jam number 22. 10:23 about to start. 2 minutes on the clock. 121 plays, 61. Almost double the score now, Sasha.
That's okay. I know that the Rogue Scholars, sprints through on their inside line and takes lead for Mercenaries. I know that the Rogue Scholars are in good spirits today. They're very excited here to be ECI. For lots of them, it is actually their debut.
Sprints, takes the outside line, gets taken to the outside, recycled. Only a couple of feet though, steps back onto the track and continues skating. All legal, all in bounds, all good. 5 point pass though. Power jam situation.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah.
I do see a star in the penalty box, so
I
I'm right.
see it.
Yep.
I see it. I got confused by the bench and the penalty box are so close together. And sprints around the outside, darts to the inside, picking up another 5 points for the Mercenaries.
Much slower pack this jam than we've seen in some of the previous jams.
We have sprinting through on the inside line again. 20-point jam with 40 seconds left. I wonder how many more passes she can do. I think the highest scoring jam that I have seen this weekend was 35 points by Freudian Slit from Canberra.
And I've been seeing way more technical issues and things to fix than I have jams this weekend. So I have not... That's the highest scoring jam I've seen this weekend, I believe.
Well, she picks up another 4 points and calls it.
13 seconds left in the period. That will pretty much bring us to a wrap for period one. We'll take a short break, get you some music, and you can have a look at some of the highlight replays from that half while you wait for us to return. About 10 minutes, I believe it is this weekend.
Yeah, 10 minutes. It'll change to 10 minutes in a sec. Don't believe it.
It's all right. The scoreboard will be disappearing shortly to be replaced by the titles of the music that you are listening to. Go and check out all of the bands. They have kindly donated their music for the use on our stream. Most of them are Derby related. And if you, too, have a band or make amazing music, even if it's pretty good, let us know. We'd love to promote you,
Yes,
play
please.
you, get you out there, put your name on the screen, and let people hear your music.
I have been Sasha Fierce.
I've been the Flat Track Protocol.
We'll see you in 10 minutes.
You're at the East Coast Invitational 2017, day number 2. Goodbye.
Hi, I'm Judge Booty. We are the VR, the Virgin Regime. We are a worldwide collective of queer skaters, their allies and their supporters. Roller derby is an inclusive sport. No matter how you identify or who you love, there is a team near you who will welcome you with loving arms and massive bruises.
And welcome back to the second half of the East Coast Invitational. Rogue Scholars versus Mercenaries.
Track number 1, day 2, game 2, here at East Coast Invitational. Welcome back, Sasha Fierce.
Welcome back, Flat Track Protocol.
Who have we got on the track?
Let's have a look. That is Dom jamming for Mercenaries.
Dum 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 dum.
Dom.
Dum comes through the outside, takes the jammer.
And we have a star pass from the Rogue Scholars. It was a beautiful star pass, but of course Thumper got in the way there and made sure that that pivot was put behind. That is the half-bloody princess. She is through on her initial pass, forcing Dom to call the jam.
4 more points added to the SRDL total.
That's 1. The ref is putting up 1. Maybe they did 4, and then she got the jammer point, so she got 1. There we go.
A correction.
There we go. And who is that in the sparkly shorts? It's Hayes jamming for Rogue Scholars.
And I think we have the fresh sprints for SRDL Mercenaries. Where would the fresh sprints be from? It needs to be of somewhere, right?
Are you joking?
No, the fresh sprints of Not Bel Air, but we need a pun for that one, for the sprints.
Okay. She had a really big hit. Someone hit her and she flew. And so we called her, she is the fresh prince of sweet air.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Knew you'd have one.
Yeah.
It's a man's laughter, thumbs up.
The seal of approval from Man's Laughter.
And Sprints takes lead for Mercenaries. Hayes is knocked to the infield and recycled by Thumper. Meanwhile, Sprints picks up another 5 points. And Hayes is through on her initial pass. Sprint calls the jam, protecting the point differential.
Once again, we have Dawn Star on head for the Mercenaries.
And a green star on the head for Fast and Furiosa.
It's a combination we've seen quite a bit of in the first half.
Both are very powerful, dominating kind of jammers.
Five seconds called by the jam timer.
Fury trying to hold off Dom for a little while so that Dom has to deal with a 5-wall instead of a 4-wall.
Dom's giving some back, though. Not going to take any of that. Knocks Fast and Furiosa to the outside and recycles it to the back. Fast and Furiosa trying again to the outside line. Does find a little bit of space, but gets stuck down by a couple of SRDL blockers there at the front of the
Thumper
pack.
knocks her to their infield, forcing her to reset. Meanwhile, Dom goes up the inside line and takes lead for Mercenaries.
Rogue Scholars there, very distracted, trying to assist their jammer, giving Dom the opportunity she needed to get through.
Rogue Scholars setting up that 3-wall.
Nice brace 3-wall with an extra person there helping out, but no trouble at all for Dom, stepping around the inside, finding her way through. Fast and Furiosa is also out, ready to pick up some points on a scoring quest also.
Yay, scoring quest!
I love a scoring quest. Everyone loves a good scoring quest, especially when it's part of a wider scoring adventure.
We have the fresh sprints on the line for the Mercenaries.
Would that make a weekend like this a scoring saga?
Oh yeah, a scoring saga. A scoring epic.
Ooh, I like that. Or is that-
Fortunately, 5 seconds has been called.
Please bring an end to this conversation already, in other words. And the action on the track, we have number 9-6, so that's the Fresh Sprints, once again for the Mercenaries.
We have a star pass to 1618. Your new jammer for Rogue Scholars is Brazen Ivy.
Second star that she has taken in this game that I've seen.
Yes.
All right. Taking the track, star on head, and Judge Booty for SRDL.
And Fast and Furiosa for the Rogue Scholars.
Fast and Furiosa certainly jamming a lot of jams in this game.
Yeah, she's really high rotation at the moment, and you can see why she's so effective.
One day soon, I hope we do have our commentator stats organised so we could actually tell you exactly how many points Fast and Furiosa has contributed to the 61 total points that Rogue Scholars currently have. But they are in the works. Hopefully by the end of this season, we will have all sorts of magic numbers in front of us while we call games.
Do we have lead percentage too?
That's already on my list.
And court is in session. Judge Booty takes lead.
The points are real. The blockers are real. These are the scoring quests of Judge Booty. I've just broken Sasha.
Oh, I think you win.
I can't put that on replay.
Yeah, we don't grab audio for our replays, unfortunately. You're going to have to watch that one back later.
All right, we have Dom on the jam line for Mercenaries.
105-point game we have on our hands now. Rogue Scholars playing catch-up and a lot of work to do.
Dom skips up the outside line and takes lead.
Straight out of the pack, Dom always low with an excellent stride there, keeping that power up as she powers around the entire track. Comes to the back of the pack, finds a wall, takes the outside line around the wall and slips straight through the pack.
Meanwhile, Roxy Horror is being recycled on the outside apex by Priss. She stashes the star.
Natural Grand Slam pass there from Dom. Comes up again, hits the engagement zone. Already past several blockers in the back of the pack and straight through once again for another Natural Grand Slam.
The star has a Oh, the star has been stashed. Roxy Horror still has it. She's knocked on that outside line.
Another 5 points added to the Mercenaries total there. Dom just powering around, doing laps like there's nothing there.
And Thumper taking care of Roxy Horror one-on-one, knocking her between the lines. Roxy Horror being caught up. Wait, did she pass it? She passed the star. That was sneaky. Brazen Ivy is your new jammer for the Rogue Scholars, and Thumper knocks her to their infield and recycles.
Brazen Ivy once again taking the star, third time in the game now.
Dom's come through. She's picked up another 5 points. We're on a 20-point jam for Dom. Oh, and again, Brazen Ivy hit to the infield and recycled by Thumper.
If the Mercenaries wanted to do anything in this game to really solidify their position in this tournament, it is right now making sure they add another 25 and counting points. There's still another 25 seconds to go. Dom could add another 5 in this one too, bringing it to a 30-point jam.
And I'll bet she wants it too. She's in a power jam situation as Brazen Ivy has been sent to the penalty box for a what's that one? Misconduct?
Low.
Low block. I was like, when was there a misconduct? For a low block, which means that the Mercenaries have a power jam start.
30 points scored in that jam by Dom. Most of those points, I think, bar the last pass, or maybe 2 passes, were natural grand slams, passing the opposing jammer on the track, not that extra point you get in that power jam situation. Huge effort from Dom.
Maximum effort for the Mercenaries. Get it?
Yes.
All right, we have the fresh sprint. The Mercenaries sweep the wall of green out of the way. Oh, Sprint steals one-on-one with Rogue Scholars 4-8-0, and she takes lead on the inside line.
To be honest, I have only had one coffee. It took me a moment, and then I remembered the Mercenaries have had a Deadpool beside the track most of the weekend, and it was incredibly obvious once I'd let the caffeine sink in and remembered that fact.
And if you squint and look at their helmets, they all have like little Deadpool stickers on them. And Sprint is through again, 5 points. See?
Certainly one of the things I found from seeing some chatter, listening to some chatter from the Mercenaries this weekend, they were having a lot of fun working as a team together.
Oh, star pass!
Really enjoying the formation of this Mercenaries team and the fact that they're getting some games as SRDL's C team, getting to bond as a team, and getting some experience for these newer players on the track.
SRDL did a little bit of a restructure. They had an A team and a B team, Assassins and Snipers, and they also had 3 home teams, so it was just internal and everyone plays themselves. And they thought, hey, what if you guys played other leagues? So they decided to create a C team, the Mercenaries, and that's what you see on track. Brand new team.
Certainly, I think proving that it was the right call from SRDL to put these skaters not in A and B out there in another C team, give them some interleague experience at tournament level, and get them ready to step up to those Assassins and Sniper roles in the future.
Goals. Fast and Furiosa deals with Scrim Shady, and she takes lead. Meanwhile, Judge Booty has stashed the star. Fast and Furious are being recycled on the outside line by Press.
Comes up straight against that. Another wall of 3 SRDL blockers. Not having much luck getting past them. Finds a way through the inside, slips through the rest of the pack. Jam comes to an end. 203 points now. We've cracked the 200 for the SRDL Mercenaries. 66 though for the Rogue Scholars. 20 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second period. Massive thank you to Maitland Roller Derby League, providers of the wonderful replay, giving us the opportunity to speculate and call our own calls on official reviews and everything else. Massive thank you to the entire crew this weekend. It's very short on people, but we're doing an amazing marathon effort between us all, calling games back-to-back, producing games back-to-back, operating cameras back-to-back, and there's action on the track.
And Dom takes lead on the inside line for Mercenaries, but a hot on her heels is 7-7 Hayes. Dom is sprinting.
Hayes is still hot on heels, though. Both jammers hitting the engagement zone. Dom comes through, calls it as she passes.
She gets 1 point held up for her by skater Jupiter, holding that green skater there. And Priss, I think it was Priss. 2 skaters.
Two. We got 2 in the end.
Oh, we got 2 points.
Yep, there was 2. They went up on road, they came off
jammer
to
as well.
choose. Ah, yes, jammer.
There we go. Science. Oh, we have a timeout. You know, science when you math something out. Whatever. It's been a long weekend.
It has been a long weekend. Taking a look at that jam, though.
Woo.
Dom coming up at the beginning of jam, picking up lead nice and easily through the inside of the pack there. Not much resistance at all for that lead.
Dom is just so dominating on track. She just powers through. I've seen her play on multiple teams. I've seen her play for different leagues. I've seen her play in mixed games and stuff like that. It's the same story every time. She sees where she wants to go. She hits it. She follows through. There is no stopping her.
I certainly got to know Dom a few years ago doing the regular season of street skating through the city, and Dom's, I think, picked up a lot of the stability and agility on the streets, keeping up with a fast-moving pack up and down the Anzac Bridge and around under the Harbour Bridge, and even that cobbled crap up that used to be up under the bridge and around to the Opera House. Like that all makes for a better skater. So I strongly encourage everyone out there who's just getting started in Derby to go out and hit the streets, get that stability, get the agility that comes from dodging people and things, and bring that to the track. It does make a world of difference to skaters, I find personally.
I agree. On the jam line, we have Fast and Furiosa for Rogue Scholars. He was giving us a bit of a dance.
Love a derby dance.
I love, a derby dance. Oh, sorry. I love alliteration as well. And the first sprints for Mercenaries. Thumper clears the outside line. Oh, little pile up from Black Nine, but they're all up. Oh, again. I heard Black 9-6 forearms.
I did too. There's definitely, and I
Where-
think there's a cut call
I don't
in there
think she can
somewhere
hear
too. Looks like we're going to see an insubordination soon if we're not careful. It's a cutting call I see being called.
What's that signal?
That's the insubordination.
Okay.
That's the extra 30 seconds. Certainly repeated calls there. There was forearms in there. There was a cut in there. I'm not sure which one was assessed before the insubordination.
Oh, no. Does that mean she got 3 penalties?
I really hope not.
Oh, no.
I would think if the forearms was called before the cut, then the cut didn't happen because she should have been on the way off the track. But if she wasn't removing herself from the track, then the cut
she
probably
gets the
did
cut
happen.
as well, yeah.
Let's just, we'll get an update on that shortly if we can. Fast and Furiosa, though, however, takes to the outside. Massive hit there from 635. That is,
Thumper.
sorry, 535 Thumper.
And Fast and Furiosa makes it through on the outside line. She is taking full advantage of this power jam and lead jammer situation. We don't know how long the Mercenaries jammer Fresh Prince is actually going to be out. Oh, a little pileup there. Again, the Scrim Shady holding up Fast and Furiosa with her buddy Thumper. They get pushed out of play and Furiosa gets through. Black 535 to the penalty box. Sprints is back on track. Her penalty times must be up. Perhaps that was only 2 penalties then in that case. It didn't seem that long. She is back dealing with the VDL four-wheel by herself.
Fast and Furiosa taking to the inside. Looks like it hurt, but she is back up. Takes a few deep breaths, pushes up against the back of the pack. Relieved the jam is over.
Oy. I believe that was the natural end of the jam.
Couple of pats and hugs there between the skaters in that situation. A few smiles and back to the benches. Derby is a game of big hits.
And big hugs. We have Judge Booty with you on the track this moment. I tried. And let's see, who is for VDL? Is that Hot Blocks? Oh, Judge Booty runs up the outside line and takes the lead. But the Half-Bloody Princess, who is your jammer for VDL, speeds around on her initial. They are now racing around the track.
Hey guys, we'll return our audio. Oh, we'll return to our audio when the house can stop their music.
talking about, I can really see. Boy, you're trying to kill me. Something has happened here, something they couldn't say. But it's your fault, I do nothing sweeping now. I've got you sticking like glue. And now I'm too sad to kill you. I'll say that this is not a crime for you. And life was better when you put it close. I didn't ask that you'd be here. And we were happy that you're gone. It feels like I'm tripping through broken glass. Rubber duckers trying to.
All right, I think we're safe to be back. Really sorry about that, people. As I stated in the earlier game, rules are no music in-game. These guys keep breaking the rules. We're about to actually pull the stream for the rest of the day if they're not careful. Good. Producer's just letting me know he can't hear it at the moment. It is still on, and we don't want to risk it because YouTube can hear everything.
Yeah, at MRDA Down Under, we had some really high-quality games and really high-quality streaming, but YouTube took the videos down off because we don't have the music rights. So unless you want to pay for every single song, guys, if you want us at your events, please respect the rules and licensing agreements. Either pay for the music or don't play it.
That's right.
Anyway, back to the game. We have Judge Booty. Her court is in session. She is jamming, and I believe she's on her scoring pass, and she has a lead. We have 1006 Roxy Horror, who's just escaped on her initial pass. Caliente knocks Judge Booty out into the ref lane, and she calls it. Court is adjourned.
And now?
We have a team timeout.
Team timeouts. It's a perfect opportunity to thank our sponsors, Skate Project, for providing all the data we use, and we go through a lot of data. So it takes about almost a gig an hour to bring you Derby of a medium quality.
An hour?
Yeah.
How many hours do you know are we doing this weekend?
We're doing so 2 tracks for 1 day of 10 hours each. That's 20 hours.
20 hours.
Plus today's coverage, which is 2 tracks for 6 hours each this morning, and then and then 1 other track. So there's another 12. That's 32 gigs so far, plus another 4, 5, 6 for this afternoon, or to cover 2 games this afternoon. That's so 4 hours. About another 5 there on top of that. So what's that? 37. 37 gig of data we need for this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, when you put it like that, thank you, Skate Project.
Thank you, Skate Project. Yes.
37
and you all know
gig.
how much you pay for your mobile data, don't you? That's exactly the kind of data we use. So thank you very much, Skate Project. We couldn't do it without you. We've had to add we used to use a 50 gig plan to do all of our Derby in a month. We've had to upgrade that and make it 75 gig to fit all the Derby we often do in a month now in. So we are looking for a sponsor who wants to pick up that second 25 gig plan for us. We'd love to hear from you. It's pretty affordable. I'm paying for it for right now because we need it. But if someone would like to take that bill off my hands once a month for the rest of the season, that would be amazing.
Yes, please. And even if you can donate just a little bit, head to our Patreon, patreon.com, DDTV. And on the track, we have Dom jamming for Mercenaries. And she is just dealing with Green 99 before she takes the lead. Meanwhile, back in the pack, we have 1618. Brazen Ivy with the star on her head. Thumper holding her off, but she does a beautiful star pass to the Hot Blood Prince. Nope, to Hot Blocks.
Hot Blocks confirming the stars firmly on head before hitting the pack. Pack's moving at the same pace she is, though. Jam
is called off by Dom.
Don't want to risk any of those extra points. 222 of them playing 86. They're all real. As in the points are real. The blocks are real. Back to my reference to Judge Booty earlier with the
yes.
the real points on the real blocks.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I couldn't bring it out in its entirety again. I just had to meta-reference it. And, yeah. Massive thank you to all of our officials this weekend too. This time we have
VDL have just taken lead. That is Roxy Horror. She is your lead jammer for this jam. Meanwhile, the Fresh Sprints is sprinting through, jumps the apex and completes her initial pass.
Rogue Scholars in a scoring position, are ready to begin the quest.
The pack has sped up. They're running away.
Well, takes a trip, may have just touched out of balance, didn't quite catch it myself. SRDL are calling for a cut. Do they have a review? No, yes, they do have a review. Will they use it? I didn't quite catch it. It looked like there was a potential for a cut there, but no, I think we're going to let it go. It's not the kind of review you often win either. When if they had seen it, it would have been called. I wasn't sure what I saw either, so yeah, probably safe to keep that review until something that might matter.
I think with a point differential like that, it's pretty safe to keep the review.
Pretty safe, yep. Though we do know these Rogue Scholar Jammers and Blockers are powerful and ready for battle. They could still turn this game around.
They definitely could, but meanwhile, Judge Booty has overturned that hope by taking lead jammer. Fast and Furiosa is lapping her on the jammer lap, forcing a call off.
Judge Booty saying, no, this session is done. I will hear no more. Taking a quick look at that again, though. Beginning a gem. Judge Booty taking the outside, picking up lead there.
On the jam line for Rogue Scholars, we have the Half-Bloody Princess.
9 minutes and 18 seconds left to play. Game number 2, day 1, track 1, first ever Eastern Regional Invitational.
And on the jam line for SRDL, we have Dom, who sprints up the inside line and takes lead.
Sorry, East Coast Invitational, not East Region Invitational. East Coast
East Coast.
Invitational. I think we need smash your names for tournaments.
Oh, yeah, I've got a list
This
somewhere.
one's way too descriptive and...
I need more puns.
You want punny tournament names.
Oh, yeah. I would buy so many shirts with puns on them. Big cheers from the crowd as VDL forced a call off. Here's the replay from the Junkyard Jerks. Bam, and she's through.
So we've wanted to do some Down Under shirts with Skate Project as a collaboration for a little while. So if you've got some puns you want to see on those shirts that we can sell to our supporters as a way of them showing that they support us and help us with our coverage, then yeah, let's get at it.
Yeah, if you have any, message me on the Down Under Derby Facebook page.
Massive thank you as well for managing a lot of that Facebook traffic a lot of the time for us, Sasha. It means that things get filtered and go to the right person without me needing to worry about every single message we receive. Fast and Furiosa gets taken to the inside of the pack, though, taken down the middle of the pack, though, before getting back up and keeping that position there as lead jammer.
Fast and Furiosa takes lead while Sprints gets sent to the penalty box for a cut track. So it's a power jam and lead jam to Fury.
Much needed power jam. Furiosa, though, finding her way through, picks up the 5 points.
She's a very impressive jammer.
Certainly in this high rotation, she's done a lot of work this weekend. Jam after jam after jam, game after game. It's a lot of work. And then to come and commentate and work on our crew as well.
Nope. Yeah, that was a cut track. So Thumper hit Fury and skated backwards. Fury thought she was still in, stood up, kept going, but
Jack
nothing
in
gets
the
past
box.
these ref. Jack in the box?
Jammer.
Oh, because, yeah.
I'm not sure if there was... Nope, both jammers are...
Both jammers are in the box?
Don't know how or why.
Well, I think because the jam was called dead. Yeah, the jam was called dead. We have both jammers in the box, which like never happens because the rules.
The first one
designed so
should have
that it
been
doesn't.
released, but unless there was unless one's hit 7.
Yeah, natural end of the jam.
Right, natural end of the jam
Yeah,
without
yeah.
a swap. So we're just going to get a swap in the next. No, I think the officials are trying to sort this stuff out. There's a ref in the box. There's more than one ref in the box. Let's take a look at the end of that jam. Is that what we got?
No.
I just
Bam, that's the cut track. Huh.
Right, man's left just grabbing some of the last bit of that jam. We can rewatch the entire jam actually while we're sorting this out. Let's do that. Just hit play. Oh, and cut to it. There we go. So here's this jam. Here's the previous jam again, thanks to the Maitland Junkyard Jerks. Just going to, we've commentated it once already, so Fast and Furious is coming around the outside. We're mainly waiting to see what's actually happened here with the two jammers. I don't know if we actually caught the action in the box.
Sorry, that's gone back.
All right.
I sped it up and decided not to.
Nope, slight, still getting used to playing these replays we don't grab on the fly. We've got the grabbing them on the fly down pat, but we do have the technology and the ability to go back and preview. Whoa, here we go.
What have you done to me?
Meanwhile,
Cut
Jam
to a
is
camera.
in session. And we have Dom, who's just taken the lead for Mercenaries. And this is in a power jam situation.
So not quite sure how that all got resolved. We don't need to see a replay of it anymore because the action is back on the tracker, not in the penalty box. Dom is on the scoring quest, comes up against a wall of blockers at the front of the pack. Rogue Scholars coming to stop her. Few to go, but she gets past them easily.
Oh, and Fury sprints back on the track. She's in front of Dom. She's determined to complete her initial pass nice and quick.
Star is in hand though. Maybe it's going to be offloaded to another jammer.
Oh, wow. Dom on the outside, Fury on the inside.
Jammer
Hey,
on
knock it
jammer
out.
takes
Oh.
Fast and Furious to the outside. She takes a knee slide and gets straight back up though. It doesn't really affect her much. The star goes on her head and she powers down to catch up with Dom.
And meanwhile, Dom and the blockers are just trying to waste some time. They're in the lead there, so it works the best to their advantage to just take as much time as they like for this jam. Fury is fast, though, and she is approaching the pack. Dom hits it and quits it. That's Roxy Horror on the jam line for the Rogue Scholars. There is an official timeout. During this official timeout, we would like to thank our sponsors. Thank you, Skate Project, for buying us a truckload of data so that we can bring free live-streamed roller derby to the comfort of your own home. Also, thank you to Better Bearings. You betcha, if you need better bearings and you want to be able to bear your roll a little better, then Better Bearings got you covered.
And they're better value too.
They are better value. Yeah, I find it more bearable when things are better value.
Definitely. And with their better service, you couldn't have a problem, could you?
Yeah, I can't bear bad service.
We could do this all day. But let's not. The action.
Fortunately, the ref has called the end of timeout.
So we don't have to. Judge Booty, Star on ahead for the Mercenaries.
Deadly hit
Steps
from
her, gets
Thumper on the
Oh,
outside.
there's people stepping everywhere. There's got to be something low in there somewhere.
Cut track penalty called to Roxy Horror, which means Judge Booty's court is in session as she takes lead. Do the real thing again.
The points are real. The blocks are real. These are the scoring quests of Judge Booty. Judge Booty coming to the outside, push to the inside, one blocker to go. Blocker goes out front, extending the pack. Quick bridge there from the Rogue Scholars, but Judge Booty picks up the points.
Judge Booty's on her lap. She'll be with you in a moment. Meanwhile, Roxy Horror has been released from the box and she is sneaking up behind. Has SRDL noticed? But I believe Roxy's actually still on her, Roxy is on her initial.
Yes, initial pass.
That's why the star is in her hand.
Takes a hit at the front of the pack, almost gets taken to the inside, manages to stay up inbounds on one skate.
Judge Booty calls it from the floor. Court is adjourned.
From the floor. 3 minutes, 28 seconds left on the clock. Not much the Rogue Scholars can do at this point in the game. The Mercenaries just confirming that lead, solidifying their position and making sure that they take the win for this one. Where does that leave them in terms of the tournament, do you know, Sasha?
Oh,
Sorry
you're
to put you on
making
the
me
spot.
do math on the spot. Here is the thingy. So whoever wins this game, Div 1, Game 9, the winner goes... Nowhere. We don't know. We'll find out
We'll
later.
find that out for you.
All right, so Sprints is running, and she's being recycled on the inside. Meanwhile, the Rogue Scholars are dealing with Pris and Thumper, who recycle her on the outside line.
Angular defense getting reformed by the Rogue Scholars at the front of the pack. Need to break it apart to bridge, though.
Travesty back from her time in the penalty box. We have full packs on track, I believe. Sprints has picked up lead, but Hot Blocks is half a lap behind. Meanwhile, the pack have sped up. SRDL pulling the strategy of just wasting a little bit of time to maintain their lead. Sprint skips through, picks up points, and calls the jam. I think with a game with point differential this big, it's really important to acknowledge that with the team with the lowest score, I feel like every point is worth like 4 times more.
Oh, definitely it is,
Honestly, considering like what they had to do to get it, how hard they had to work, everything they have to overcome to just bring it every single jam. I don't feel like SRDL are relaxed at all in this game.
So we've gone to a team timeout. It looked like an
timeout.
official review there. Perhaps it was an official review being, it wasn't an official review being used as a team timeout. The correct dot on the scoreboard is illuminated to suggest it is a proper team timeout for the Rogue Scholars. Taking a look over the Rogue Scholars, though, we're getting close to the end of the game. 2 minutes left. Let's have a look at the rosters while we're in this team timeout. The Rogue Scholars have been 1006, Roxy Horror, 129, Hell Yeah, 1618, Brazen Ivy, 2063, Fast and Furiosa. Thank you, Miss Man's Laughter, for the on-screen roster while we're at it. 31, Madam Lash, 310, your Captain, Katality, 32, Bob and Weaver, 420, Hot Blocks, number 489, Half Bloody Princess, 5446, Franny, 77 Hayes, number 9, M Dash, number 99, Cross Wencher. That brings us to the end of the team timeout. We'll catch up with the Mercenaries roster in just a moment. Looking like we have Star on head for, who would that be on the track?
Fast and Furiosa and Dom.
Combination we've seen frequently in this game.
We have pack advantage to VDL.
I can see a long rivalry forming for these two teams, though. They've played some excellent derby this weekend,
Fury
and
takes lead.
I look forward to seeing what the next time Rogue Scholars and the Mercenaries look like when they come up against each other at some point in the future. Hopefully later this year, I would say.
Oh, yes, I would love to see these two teams match up. These two teams are actually very, very close to my heart. I do have personal friends in VDL, and I am from SRDL myself. And I would just, I would die. It would be so fun.
I'm a personal close relationships with SRDL, and over the last couple of years, through all of the varsity teams, the Rogue Scholars, the Dishonour Rollers, and the Capital Carnage, their men's
I love
team.
Carnage from MRDA Downunder.
Yeah, all of the varsity teams are just amazing to work with. They're so supportive of each of the teams within their league. You'll always find members from each of their teams fully supporting the others, whether it's on the track, on the bench, here on the crew, making coverage happen. They're there, and they say the reason they help out so much is that we cover them regardless of whether they help out or not, so they feel they should help out. So all you leagues out there, send help.
And Judge Booty takes lead for SRDL. Who is that? That was Katality laid a really decent hit on Judge Booty there on the outside line, but she maintained her momentum, spun around, and took that lead for herself.
And there is 35 seconds on the period clock. This will be the final verdict from Judge Booty.
The Rogue Scholars, we were talking a lot, but they've broken the 100-point mark. Yay!
Take a sip of your orange juice. Congratulations to the Rogue Scholars for pulling up the 100 points. Judge Booty taking the outside line, puts a solid hit on a Rogue Scholar, helps it get through though, takes the inside line, steps out of bounds, falls to the floor and calls it off. 4 seconds left on the period clock. No, we have gone into halftime. The clock has been adjusted. Judge Booty has delivered the final verdict, 251 points to 101. This court is now closed.
And just to finish off with the Sydney Roller Derby League Mercenaries lineup, We have 1-3-1-4 Whip, Kraken 1-6, 1 Unsteady, 1-8-7 Dom, 3 Skater Jupiter, 3-8 Alice Ablaze, 5-3-5 Thumper, 6 Judge Booty, 6-5 Biffy Miffy, 6-5-6 Scrim Shady, 6-8 Pris, 7 Travis T, 8-0-0-8 Blocky Balboa, 9-6 The French Sprints, and 8-9 Betty Stopper. On the bench we have Commando Chevy, Moody, and Mr. Bump.
Of course, these rosters being the crew brought into the entire tournament with, so you don't have all of those 4 benchies on your bench. You have,
2.
They are crew support. So, 2 of those people looks like Commando Roll and
Moody.
Moody for this one. So, big shout out to all of the Mercenaries. Big shout out to all of the skaters from Varsity Roller Derby League, in particular the Rogue Scholars. I've been the Flat Track Protocol.
I've been Sasha Fierce.
You've been watching the East Coast Invitational 2017 live from Niagara Park on the central coast of New South Wales. Day 2. Stay tuned for heaps more action, including all of the finals up after lunch.
Yeah, the next game is BCR A team versus the SIDL B team, so the Snipers.
Down on track number 2. So, you want to tune into that one. You'll be down there to call the SIDL B team, I assume, Sasha?
Yes.
Track 1 at Game 3 coming up next on this track. We have the other part of Varsity Roller Derby League. We have the Dishonour Rollers up against the Notorious V.I.Cs from VRDL. That would be a good game. Might stay around to call that one myself, I think, if you're going to be busy down on the other track.
Damn. Well, it's been a pleasure.
It has been an absolute pleasure, as always, calling a game with you, Sasha.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to doing it again soon. Thank you, Manslaughter, for looking after the Vision Switch, and Reagan for
Camera
camera stuff who's disappeared already.
They fell. Sorry, it was cute. All right.